Hey guys, welcome back to the latest episode of the AMT 68 Corvair that I'm building for my buddy Dave. We're going to look at our latest progress and take care of a little business. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, we got the clear coat part applied to the body, and as you can see, it turned out pretty nice using the polycarbonate paint, the P as in Peter, S as in Sam paints from Tamiya. They held up pretty good, and they took the clear very nicely. So I wasn't sure how well these paints would hold up, but using them on regular styrene model kits, looks like it works. And using it with the Tamiya paints, the clears and the primer, helps the paint stick. I mean, it sprays very thin, so you have to use multiple coats to get your color where you want it. But if you guys ever thought about using them, here is living proof that they do turn out very nicely. As I said, they require a bit more work because they do spray very thin, so it requires a lot more coats than your regular TS paint will. But I will be using them again. Now, I cleared this because I'm building this to match my buddy Dave's car. But if you don't clear it, it has a really nice matte finish that I will be using on a car in the future. But with the clear, it comes out beautiful. And this color is a pretty close match to Dave's car. So I'm very happy with the way that turned out. It's going to require a bit of polishing now. And I did get a few little boogers in the paint, which I'm going to have to smooth out and polish out. But as you can see, works really good. So if you ever thought about using a TS paint for your styrene kits, I'd say go ahead and give it a try. Alright, let's move on to our next bit of progress. Alright, here we have the dashboard is done. Now for the blue on the dashboard, this is an original interior paint color for Dave's car. I don't remember exactly what the paint is called, I'll have to look that up. But this is the original interior paint color for his car. Now his car has black bezel for the instrument cluster and a glove box. And the interesting thing about his car, which I didn't even know these cars had, is that his car has an automatic transmission. Now the automatic transmission shifter is on the dashboard. If you see right here, this is the shifter lever on the dashboard itself, which is very interesting. I didn't even know these cars had that until he showed it to me on his car. Now this kit comes as a manual transmission, so now I have to convert everything to the automatic trans, which means I have to scratch build the shifter plate assembly and the shifter knob using photo etch parts, a small steel rod, and then the knob on the end was made using the I'll show you right here, clear part cement. Just put a small drop of it on the end of the shift knob, of the shift lever, and let that harden, paint it up, and there you have a knob. Now the actual shift gate on the dash bezel itself was made from photo etch parts I had from another kit. And when I lined it all up and put it all together, there we have a pretty nice and very close approximation to the shifter on Dave's car. It said I didn't even know these cars came with this, and I wouldn't have known it had Dave not pointed it out to me. So it came out pretty neat. Now all I have to do is work on the gauges and a couple of touch-ups on the dash here and there, and then the dashboard will be done. Alright, let's move on to our next item. Here we have the seats, which are painted on the same interior color as the rest of the interior, but they do have small chrome buttons on the seats, So that's been painted to match the real car. Pretty simple, not much there. Alright, let's go on to our next item. Alright, next item is the interior tub. As you can see, we've painted in all the details, all the buttons on the interior paneling, the handles, buttons on the rear seat, same as on the other side, the car's emblem there. And now we're starting to lay in some carpeting. So we're going to go through the process of laying in the carpeting so you guys can see exactly how it's done. Okay, here I have my whole little carpeting kit. It's really very simple. I've done it before on some of my other builds, so I'll go over it again here in case you guys haven't seen it. The first thing we need is our carpeting material. Now what I'm using for this car is embossing powder. This is a nice blue color to match the interior of the car. It's very easy to use. You can pick these up at any craft stores. This I got from Hobby Lobby, I think it was. Then I keep a small little pan to catch the powder as I'm putting it in the car. I keep a larger pan here so that it doesn't get all over the table. Now what I'll do is I'll work here in the pan, and as I'm putting the powder in, knocking the extra out, it falls into here, and this I can use to pour it right back into our container. Now, if you noticed the strainer here, this is for when I'm using the other form of flocking powder, which is the nylon flocking powder, which we're not doing that here, so we're going to put that to the side. Now, the adhesive I use to stick the flocking powder to the car, I like to use Mod Podge matte so that it dries perfectly flat and you don't have any shiny spots coming through the carpet. You can use any type of white glue. You can use, some people use paint. I mean, all sorts of different mediums. This is just what I like to use here. As you can see here, I have half the carpeting done already, and I started on the second half, which that's what we're going to go through now. I'm going to show you the procedure. It's basically the same thing. This is just a second coating, as when I put the first one in, I guess I didn't lay the glue down even enough and it didn't stick everywhere. So we're going to give it a second coating, and we're going to go through that, and the second is the same as the first. Okay, it's really very easy. Basically all we're going to do is we're going to take the Mod Podge, the white glue. Well, now I like to get it very nice and wet so it gives you time to apply it before it dries, as that's going to be one of the issues, is that it dries very quick. Well, not super quick, but it dries quick enough that the embossing powder sometimes won't stick to it. And then basically what you're going to do is you're just going to coat the interior with the Mod Podge. When the Mod Podge is used, a nice wet application of the Mod Podge, it goes on very easily. Covers evenly. Now, a lot of the times you won't have to do the entire floor, as you got to remember the seats will be covering a good portion of the floor. On this one I'm doing the entire floor just because it's a big flat surface since the engine's in the back of this car. So it'll be easy just to paint the flat surface all in one shot instead of going all the way around. Now this car does have a floor mat here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the floor mat with no glue on it so that it shows through the carpeting. And here we go. Now we have a nice even coating of the Mod Podge there. Plenty for the embossing powder to grab onto. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to take the embossing powder And we're just going to pour it right on top of the glue. It's that simple. And then we're just going to give it a good little once around, make sure that it sticks on all sides. You can pat it down. And then the only thing that's left is to pop the excess out. Give it a little more patting down because you're going to get some of it's going to want to stick. You knock the excess out. And as you can see, there we have a nice even coat of carpeting. As you can see, it's smooth, it's even. Now it looks like it's a fully carpeted interior panel. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of it here. But if you ever wanted to lay some carpeting down, you see how easy it is. Just go grab yourself some embossing powder and get to it. So, oh, and let's take one more look at one last thing. I don't know if don't remember if in the last video I went over everything, but here we have the complete engine installed, the suspension installed with the fabricated coil springs. There's our fully painted and detailed exhaust system, and our engine with all the extra detailing done to it. Let's see if we can get a little better. There we go. That's completed. We've got some photo etch in there. We've got some tubing added. There we have our coil springs done. Our shocks painted with Alclad paints, which are fantastic paints. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to finish applying the carpeting to here. As you've seen, it's a very, very simple procedure. So you guys can go ahead and give it a shot, and gives you really good, really nice, realistic results. So I'm going to leave it here. Remember, give a like, give a subscribe. I want to say welcome to a bunch of new subscribers we have signed up, and if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button because it really helps out a lot, and that way it'll keep you notified of every time we have a new episode up and every time I got something new to show you guys. Alright, I will see you guys on the next one.